Hey guys, it's Eric here with Sacred Fortune Healing here for your weekly reading for June 8th through the 15th, 2025. So let's talk about what we have going on. Just to let you guys know, welcome to the channel if this is your first time. I do have two events going on. For June 13th, we have Echoes of the Soul. It's a past life regression workshop. So that's from 6:30 to 8. You can find more details about that on my website. It's at the Bag Lady in Charlotte. And then I also have a Reiki circle that I'll be hosting on the 28th, 6:30 to 8 as well. I will leave all that information down below. So let's get into the information for this today. So we have some interesting energy. Everything is starting to balance out. Is kind of what we're getting into, which is really good, right? There's been so many rocky things going on. And for a lot of you, you've made the decision on where you're headed. Some of you are still scratching your head, and that's completely cool. But what I feel for a lot of you guys is you've made that decision to head in a different direction. If you guys are musical theater people, like I pretend I am sometimes, there's a song pulled, I think it's from the Addams Family musical, where it's like we're changing who we are in a way. Like, we're being asked to open into something new, into something different, and that can be scary. But we have some good energy here for this week. We have balance literally in the middle. We have justice. So let's talk about what we have. Our first few cards here. Go ahead and pull them. So we have the 8 of Gabriel. It says a great deal of activity, sudden and immediate results, important communications. So again, it does feel like a lot of you guys have finally made that decision on where you're moving and what you're doing, right? So once you've done that, you're able to get a lot of things done. So Gabriel is also the angel of messengers, right? Or the messenger angel, the one who rings the horn as well. So paying attention to the messages that come through. For some of you guys, it feels like getting something in the mail. That's super exciting. It feels like for some of you it's an acceptance letter if you guys have been looking at going back into school, where you've made the decision and gotten it done. And now it's just like, how can I get everything set before the school year starts? That's interesting. It's very much feeling like that for a few of you guys within the crowd here. So, but getting a lot of things done all at once, right? Very, very rapid advancement is what we have going on here. In the middle here, kind of what's the heart of the situation. So we have justice is Raguel. So Raguel, we say, is fight for justice and equality. Rulings made in your favor. Don't give up, right? So with everything that's moving very quickly, we have to make sure we're making the right decision, not thinking on it too much, but weighing it in our hearts. You know, does it feel like, when thinking about this opportunity that's being offered, are we very excited? And yes, nervousness can be there too, but are we excited for how everything can change with this moment, or are we dreading it? You know, we have to pick the right opportunities for us. Now, this isn't to say miss it, but also, you know, make your own decision. I don't want your power, right? But looking at it and saying, does this feel right for me? Does this make me excited for what the future has to hold? And this isn't talking about like student loans and debt, all that stuff. That part, you know, is never fun. But what can you do with what you're trying to learn, what you're trying to grow through, right? And this is talking about making that right decision, weighing it through the heart. Does it feel right? Okay. So, and then we have the 8 of Ariel. Ariel being an angel of animals and outside, all that kind of fun stuff. So we have I take great pride in your excellent work. Practice makes perfect. Consider getting additional educational training. Which, that is very, very interesting. I forgot exactly what was on that card beforehand. But yeah, so it's very, very centered around getting educated or inspired, allowing us to move very, very quickly. So for some of you, you've done the research, you're ready, move. That's the 8 of Gabriel. That's kind of like the heart or the action of this, Right? And for some of you, we do have this educational aspect where it needs to be thought of a little bit more. I want a little bit more information about this week because it seems like we have two tracks going on here. Say for the 8 of Gabriel and then for the 8 of Ariel. Okay, so it seems like we do have two different readings kind of going on at the same time, or two different aspects or two groups of people that we're currently being worked with. Okay, so this will be a little different. So you want me to start with the Ariel? Okay, we're starting with Ariel. So 8 of Ariel, so it's that taking part of that education. With education seems to be a big thing this week where you're making that decision to go back to school possibly, learning a new modality to work with. Could be breath work, could be meditation, it could be SEO management, whatever you're feeling led towards. The big thing about this, so I pulled two cards here for this line that we currently have going. I do want to actually see a little bit more about what justice is too. So we'll get to that. But we have ease and grace. So with that being part of the studying and learning, this feels like it's something that is supernatural, something that you're really wanting to learn about, something that you're very passionate with, and something that you're not going out of your way to find, right? It's something that has shown up and you're just like, oh my God, I really want to know more about that. What can I do, right? And so kind of going into this state of ease and grace and saying, oh, okay, this is brought to me for some reason. So, I'm going to play with it. I'm going to have fun with it and see where it goes. Right? And that can take you on a whole different course, a whole different path of life, truly, depending on what it is, right? And through this part where you're saying, okay, if I'm super excited about it, great, I'm going to have fun with it and see what happens. The overall journey that this leads to is, maybe it's something that you never thought you could do. Maybe it's something that you're like, no, this doesn't make any sense. I'm not going to do this. But then suddenly it just clicks, right? And so our third card that we have here for this kind of section is self-acceptance, right? Self-acceptance. So being ease and graceful, so synchronicities, things just kind of coming to us and allowing ourselves to study. This is like coming back into the heart of ourselves and saying, okay, I can accept what I actually want to do, right? And for some of you, it might be something you've just been pushing off to the side and saying, this is, I can't do this. But realizing that there's more to what you have to offer, right? So big energies over here on the right with this. So the right is the right. So the right over here is that masculine side, that energy of doing, which is also interesting with this being the feminine side, which is the receptive energy, being the getting a lot of things done. It's interesting how that works. So, but our right side over here with Ariel is kind of getting more to the heart of things and saying, I know what I want to do. I'm going to accept this about myself so I can do it. Over here with the 8 of Gabriel, so remember that's a great deal of activity, moving fast, all these fun things that we talked about earlier. This can also be a road of education of just getting forms and all that signed in, but our two cards here, we're just going to pull them out together. So we have trust the universe and yes. So we have saying yes to the opportunity and trusting that it's the right one. And that can be difficult at times, right? With especially if it's something that we always thought that was a little outlandish. And that wasn't going to be the case for us. Like we're being asked to say yes. So, and for some of you guys, you're actually on both of these tracks. Some of you guys are on just one or the other, so you'll feel in intuitively which one you're being led towards. But kind of at the heart with both of you guys, we're going to pull two cards here from the Power of Surrender cards, just to kind of round out what's going on. What are we surrendering into this week that is so important? Okay, so we have some really good stuff here. We have surrender to inner peace, Cultivate inner peace on a daily basis. In quiet meditative moments, focus on the stillness within and enjoy this inner refuge. Others will feel your good vibes too, and your life will flow more easily. So this is a reminder to, even throughout this chaos, to keep the center, right? This is actually the center column that we have going on. And I might take a picture of this before, for you guys to be able to see it all. But reminding us to go within, even if we have a lot going on. So this can be just 5 minutes of breathing, sitting there holding a crystal, kind of vibing out to your own music. It can be a lot of things, but how can you surrender to peace within yourself? And, for some of you, that inner peace really comes when you've come to realize, this is what I actually want. This is what I want to do with that self-acceptance card, with, I want to learn something new. I want to grow. I don't want to keep myself in a box. Don't want to keep myself in a box. So what can we do? Can learn something new and change everything else. And then we have surrender to your full power. So your life is calling for you to step into your full power rather than playing it small, right? Both sides, we are learning, we're growing. Part of this, with Gabriel over here, it's those messages coming through us and knowing that we're on the right path, that trust the universe and saying yes when the opportunity arises, right? That's us stepping into our full power. Or when we're coming over here with Ariel, where we're connecting in maybe with nature and more of that learning aspect as well, where we're going with the flow with what's coming, the synchronicities that are happening, and coming to accept ourselves more. That is also stepping into our full power, right? And the goal here is going to be stepping into that power. What does that power look like? When we are making our own cognitive decisions with what we're doing and feeling into it and saying, okay, does this feel right? Does this not feel right? Is my heart excited to do this, or is my heart scared, right? The scared, pay attention to how that feels, right? If it's just like, oh my God, I just can't, just getting that, don't do it. But if it's like, I'm just nervous, I know I can do it, but like that, go, right? That can be a challenge as well. But overall, we have some really good stuff going on. So our last cards here. So we have angelic protection, Archangel Michael, right? Knowing that we're protected throughout this whole process. And, we can have mess ups, and that's okay. But what can we learn from it? But we are very much protected as we're going through this. This is kind of the background influences. And then our other card over here is surrender to what is. Right? Flow with what is instead of fighting it. When you can't change the situation, compassionately accepting it exactly as it is will bring you peace. Right? This is going back to that inner peace card, where we are accepting ourselves as who we are and saying, okay, I've now accepted it. I can move forward. What do I want to do? So I hope this makes sense for all of you guys. Remember that these readings are timeless, so no matter when you do see it, the information is here for you. And I hope you guys have a magnificent week. I will see you later. Bye.